I am the AP category manager. That's my title. So typically, as a category manager, I look after the gaming category as a whole, in terms of the product portfolio, the future roadmaps, and essentially as well as the engagement with the sales team. You know, on the product side to understand better what the customers of each of the different markets are looking for, and then that's how we develop our products for specific to the different markets. Yeah.
Okay, as Jyotsna mentioned, I'm the lead laptop reviewer here at Digit, and primarily I look at and I'm interested in gaming laptops. So that's what the majority of my questions are going to be around.
Sure.
Let's just start things off. Uh, Obviously during the pandemic, let's say right now we're in post pandemic, so during the pandemic a lot of people were at home, a lot of free time, a lot more interest in gaming. So naturally the demand for gaming laptops had gone up then. uh, how has it been like post the pandemic?
um Post pandemic, of course, I think as a whole, because I represent Asia Pacific, we do see that in terms of the spending on gaming and PC has actually gone down. I think you'll see that in a lot of publications as well, right? There's a lot of news report um, on discretionary spending going to things like travel, even, right? People are actually trying to find different forms of entertainment. So definitely, I think for the spike that was during the pandemic for the PC market, and gaming has slowed in many of the markets. But I think India is where it's a bit more unique. So we do not see the kind of um, dip as much as many of the other markets. So you'll be surprised to know that actually for India, the demand is for gaming is actually still strong. So like if we do a comparison year to year, the market is actually still growing, right? So we are, yeah, very very enlightened to know that gaming continues to be something very relevant to the Indian market.
So speaking of the Indian market, so like if you look at Indian gamers, if you compare them to say the global gamer, we're a bit more wary when it comes to spending. Like we tend to go for the more budget options, and a gaming laptop is, I guess we would still say it's considered a luxury. Like even a budget gaming laptop is not exactly cheap. And so like, do you have any insight as to what it is that Indian gamers are looking for when they make like a gaming laptop purchase?
um Indian customers are looking for when they make a gaming laptop purchase?
Yeah, so like I'm guessing you must be familiar with Asia Pacific as a whole, right?
Yes, yes. Hmm.
So, is there like any difference between, say, India as opposed to other countries, or like in general globally?
I wouldn't say that there is a very distinct difference, right? Generally, I think for um, most gamers would want to purchase something, um, the best that they can get out of a technological standpoint, uh, that is within their budgets, right? So I wouldn't say India is there's any specific differences or uniqueness to the customers. I think generally it's around budget, right? Looking for something which is within their budget. Of course, um, uh, we do know that in different markets, the budget of a typical gamer may vary, right? Say, for example, within Asia Pacific, we have more developed, uh, we have like the mature markets like Australia, New Zealand, right? Where they would have a much faster transition to, say, the latest generation technology. Whereas I think for India gamers, in terms of the budget wise, you will see that there is a trend and acceptance for actually something which is really still very good, but they may not be the latest generation.
Right, right. So like, as far as I know, currently in Lenovo's gaming laptop portfolio, you have the budget side of it, which is the IdeaPad Gaming 3, and then it goes into Legion, which is a bit more premium leaning. So, would you say that in terms of like in general, when new laptops come in with newer processors or newer gen graphics cards, uh, would you say India is a bit slower to adapt to those newer generations? Like it takes like we're a bit behind in that way.
I think there is of course still a market where there are a lot of early adopters,
Right.
right? So the early adopters generally there's still a voice to asking for some of these latest generation products to come very quickly to India. So um and it's actually very exciting to hear about that, right? Because actually if you think about it, just a few years ago, gaming wasn't really on the radar. On many people's
Yeah.
in many people's view in India, right? So yeah, things have changed quite a bit. But um I think for maybe yes, the general India is a big market, it's a big country as well, right? So I think we have to acknowledge that even for us to ship the latest generation products to every part of India takes time. So I think it's just a matter of like operate more of the operations. Yeah.
Right. So, like speaking of like newer generation hardware, the new RTX 40 series GPUs have just come out. We've started seeing a lot of laptops with those GPUs, and in terms of like performance, like we've seen the RTX 4050s are able to outperform 3060s, and you're getting laptops at cheaper price points. So you're getting a 4050 laptop for much cheaper than like a 3060 laptop. So, would you say you've seen like a visible impact in terms of this the new RTX 40 series GPUs like in the laptop gaming laptop market?
Um, Um, I I I think it's okay. It's a very interesting thing that you use specific chips from our partners to yeah, to try to get a sense of what's the transition going to be like. The is essentially I would say that that for every new generation that it brings along uh some new features,
Right.
right? But as well as maybe I would say some opportunities for some of the new chips to be optimized in a certain way, right? But of course, you see if you're comparing from say the RTX 30 series and the RTX 40 series, RTX 30 series, because of the fact that they have been launched much earlier, there was a lot of optimization done to that generation of processors, right? And it becomes a mature technology. Basically, a lot of the gamers are playing now. I'm sure you play some games as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So if so you'll find that there are a lot of more games which have already been optimized for the 30 series, right? But with something which is like a 40 series, although it's coming out at um with some additional new features like DLSS 3 or frame generation, not all games actually do support that yet.
Right.
Right, so that also is a challenge, right? Because then from a customer standpoint, then you have to make a decision whether do I go for something which is tried and tested, it's there, it's proven, and it is um proven to work with most likely all the games that I would want to play, or do I want to be a bit more future proof, but at the same time, if I'm getting something which is on the 40 series, um, I may not be getting the full maximum benefits of this new technology at this point, right?
Right. Right.
So I think it's a choice point. It's a choice point. And then of course I think balancing the budgets as well. Yeah.
I guess that's always a risk when you're adopting something early on.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So interesting fact, right? I am not sure whether you actually know that uh, there's this graphics card GTX 1650,
Right. Yes.
right? So it still remains one of the most popular graphics card, which is being sold in India, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, GTX 1650 is a 4 years old graphics card, right, on a laptop, right? But of course, I think there's 2 points to why I think it is still very relevant for the Indian market, because one, of course, is it hits certain price points, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. Second is the fact that it is so proven, right? Everybody knows that if you want to play, say for example, CS:GO, which is a very popular game here,
Right.
right? You're able to achieve a certain amount of performance, which, hey, for most people, for that kind of budget, getting that performance for those games, I'm happy, right? If getting a
Yeah.
latest 40 series, will I get any benefits? Not much, right? Because when you're hitting, say for example, 160 hertz frames per second, yeah, typically you a lot of people can't see anything above that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, putting the GPU aside, say, have you noticed any notable trends or like changes in terms of laptop design or form factor that have like emerged of late?
Um. Well. Have you owned a Legion product before?
I have used several Legion products
You have
before. Yeah.
used.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So, well, if you've noticed, we in the last couple of years, we have started to tone our laptops design down a little bit,
Yeah. I
right?
noticed this.
Even
Yes.
for, even for the IdeaPad gaming, right?
Yeah.
Even though the name says IdeaPad gaming, but really, if you cover the name of the product, it wouldn't look like a gaming laptop if you see it from afar, right? So, well, this is actually due in part to a lot of the insights and the research that our team has done, and we found that a lot of um, the gamers, they don't actually just buy the laptop for gaming purposes, right? Um, I think there are many customers who game in their free time, their downtime, but they want a high performance PC for their work. I think especially for India, there are a lot of programmers here, especially I've heard, right? That
Yeah.
they are doing a lot of compiling, right? So compilation, yeah. So essentially, what they are looking for is a high performance PC that can of course double up as a gaming PC as well. And really, I think that was an insight that we had, which drove us to designing something which you could bring into an office on a school without being very obvious that you are a gamer.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, a bit more subtle on the gamer aesthetic, which is apparently something a lot more people are looking for nowadays, since
Yes.
it has gaming has become a pastime that you do like on the down low and also double up as a working machine, right? So, during the pandemic, obviously we had seen that there was a lot of issue with supply chains and stock, and people are having difficulty getting their hands on machines. Now, are there any current challenges that laptop manufacturers are facing? Like, is there anything that like have you had any issues on Lenovo's end so far in terms of like stock or distribution?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm privy to reveal this information. I think we have been through COVID since some time back, right? I think essentially I think globally many countries have recovered and we have come back stronger from COVID. Um, we had many years for the whole business operations to get up and going again. So I would say that we I think the worst of COVID has passed. Um, yeah, I guess that's all I can say for now.
Uh, so, like I mentioned earlier, you've got two gaming laptop variants. Like you got the IdeaPad Gaming 3, which is a bit more budget oriented, and you got the Legion, which is like a more premium oriented. But of late, we are seeing a lot more like, let's say, at least for India, which is a bit odd, we're seeing a bit more upper mid-range gaming laptops, like somewhere sitting in between. So I believe Acer has come out with one, MSI has come. Is there anything planned for Lenovo as well?
Definitely, I think India continues to be a very it's a very big market for us, right? So we continue to be on the pulse on what's what's going on in the market and what our customers, our fans are actually asking of us. So definitely, we are definitely looking to it. I think um, there will be things that we have launched in many of the other markets, right? That will definitely come its way to for that segment, right? That would come its way to India. That's for sure, right? Um, yes, and of course, yes, it's an exciting time because um, it allows us to see that whole evolution of gaming customers in India, right? Where um, the tastes, the requirements have evolved a little bit, over the years. Customers, I think the gamers in India are actually a lot more knowledgeable now. We do find that there's a lot more tech articles as well, right? That's coming up. A lot of the tech YouTubers are actually um, sprouting up in the Indian space, right? The Indian YouTubers, right? So I was told, and I've actually met with some of them, right? Where there are different YouTubers who cater for different markets, sorry, different parts of India because of the unique languages, right? Of
Yeah,
different parts
yeah.
of India. So I mean I would say that I guess um the fact that there is a demand for such content means that the customers themselves have an interest to understand more, and as they look up and as they come across such content and they learn more, that's when their uh, request becomes more specific, and then we do hear the varied requests of the different segments of the gamers. One of which was that middle the mid-range tier, right? And we do hear that it's actually growing, so hence definitely something that we are looking at.
So, like, how is it that uh, Lenovo as a team? So, how do you determine when you know it's time to change something or it's time to start something new, and like as opposed to say continue with what is there or upgrade something? Like, obviously, you guys do a lot of research behind these things, but like, how do you know when it's time to like push the button and go ahead with it, or put a stop on it? Like,
So this is a secret sauce, our trade secret. but but just I think just broadly, right? Broadly, there are two main factors. One of which is external,
right,
right? Externally driven. We are on the ground on pulse with our community, right? So a lot of it comes from knowing what the customers are looking for, right? Um, products, product designs don't products the new products that we are launching now, they don't get designed just say yesterday, a month ago, and then we start to produce them, right? um, the complexity of a product design of a laptop is actually pretty long. It starts about 1.5 it's about a 1.5 years cycle to get a product out into market, right? Especially say for example for India, where you have like BIS certification, right? That some extra time as well. We have to make sure that products get certified. So it's really a long process, and um, a lot of it, so hence then depends on what our customers are telling us that they are looking for, and we have to have a lot of insights on this. And of course, with our media partners such as yourself, right? When there are feedbacks coming that you see certain trends happening, we have to be quick to these trends. So that's one. Um, on the other hand, internally, of course, we have to understand uh, this magic ratio, right? Which is function or performance over value, right? There's always a value factor to it. So I think uh simply put, right? If a new trend which is costly, for example mini LED screen or OLED screens, we can't be expecting to put OLED screens into every single laptop because it costs 2 times more than a normal panel, right? So I think there's always a sweet spot where certain new technologies come down to economies of scale, that's when then we will then have to make it so a lot of it depends on our insights as well as some of this cost factor that we ultimately, in short, it is always to our benefit to get the latest technology available in the latest generation for customers, right? Because everybody would want, that's how technology progresses. But at the same time, we need to understand that where our customers are coming from, and there are certain sweet spot price points that that we have to be sure that we are offering our products at a good value for our customers.
Right. So, finally, like to kind of wrap things up, is there anything interesting happening in Lenovo at the gaming laptop front that you can reveal to us, like that you're allowed to reveal to us?
uh, the interesting stuff normally are those that I can't reveal to you.
Okay. So nothing
So,
interesting, or maybe there is something
I mean,
interesting. You just
no,
can't
of course
reveal it
there
yet.
is.
Okay. Okay.
So we do have yeah, we like I said, I think uh Lenovo is in the PC business industry for many years, right? I mean, we are the number one PC maker in the globally, right? And of course, for Legion, and I mean, in the gaming space, we are a Legion is a pretty young brand, right? If you think about it, we aren't but it's actually coming up to close to 10 years since we have launched Legion, first launched Legion in some markets, in some other markets. I think we are about 6 7 years in India now, right? And we've gone a long way. As um, we are in touch with the market, and I think that today's customers are a lot more demanding than previous years,
True.
right? So um, there are certain new form factors that markets the customers may be looking at, and we are hearing that, and definitely we are looking into some how to get some excitement around the the gaming ecosystem, right? So I think gaming is not just laptops, desktops. There is a whole ecosystem to gaming, right? And we are getting ourselves out into the ecosystem to make sure that um, we continue to stay relevant to our gamers. Right. Or maybe what I can share with you one which we should be launching, we have already launched in India, which is a gaming tablet,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So we have a Y700. It is a 8.8-inch gaming tablet. So it's an amazing device. Really slim, 8.8-inch, which is essentially, if you are most people are gaming on their mobile phones, which if you think about it, from a 6 or 7 inch perspective, it is still quite they're still quite constrained, right, in terms of the screen size. So 8.8-inch is sort of a magical sweet spot. You get to see large enough content. The performance of the processing is good. You can use it like a normal productivity tablet as well, for your news and such. So yep, we have launched that. That's one of the form factors I was talking about. There will be other form factors that we will be looking at, and definitely I'm sure you'll be part of the press release, and then you get to see our latest stuff coming out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I think that's about it from my side.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.